Breaking news, Pam Bondi has ordered a federal prosecutor, not named currently, to present evidence before a Florida grand jury to present the case regarding Russiagate. This is major news, everybody. Now, let's take a step back. Many people in the audience are very skeptical that we will ever see accountability, but this is a very positive development. Time and time again, we've been promised accountability. Goes all the way back. Remember Benghazi? We spent over a year and a half to 2 years on Benghazi. Fugazi, Benghazi, Lagazi. What? Reminds me of the Wolf of Wall Street. Fugazi. We were promised justice for that. We were promised justice for the Hillary Clinton emails. We were promised justice for the people that lied about the Hunter Biden laptop. We were promised justice for the crimes that happened during COVID and the lockdowns, the vaccine mandates and the mask mandates and the corruption of our sciences. So just color me a little bit cautious here that I think immediately that we are going to get perp walks and indictments, but that is what we need. 51 intelligence officials under Joe Biden lied about the Hunter Biden laptop. Now, Pam Bondi ordering this federal prosecutor is a good step. Overall, we want to see less chatter, less memes, less talk on social media or TV. We want to see more action. If crimes did happen, investigate it, get the evidence, and be serious about it. But hopefully the Department of Justice also understands all the risks here. Prosecuting a former president of Barack Obama didn't work great for the Democrats in 2024. So would prosecuting Obama be any better? He did win 2 elections. The Florida venue is a very ambitious scheme. They apparently want to prosecute Brennan or Obama because the Biden Department of Justice raided Mar-a-Lago 6 years ago after they left office. That could be seen as catering more to a very specific grievance of the base rather than narrowly looking at the crimes that they can prove. I would introduce some caution here about trying to indict Obama. Not, of course, I think he probably deserves it. But remember, Obama still remains very popular amongst the American people. You could potentially create a political martyr. Brennan, on the other hand, however, I think indicting Brennan and Comey, who are the operators here, we want this case to be ironclad. If you indict them and this fails, it's worse than never even trying. So this needs to be a open and shut case. No reaches, no creativity. Because, for example, if you indict Barack Obama, which I admit he probably deserves it, he'll have the most unbelievable attorneys. It will be the #1 news story of the Trump government going after Obama. Remember, Obama has presidential immunity too. Now, John Brennan does not. John Brennan does not have presidential immunity. James Comey does not have presidential immunity. So if we are serious about this, and I think we need to be, this impaneling of the grand jury is major news. It's significant. But understand, we have to measure twice and cut once. And from all sources, and from everyone we've talked to, Brennan seems to be the chief villain of the story. And Brennan is not a sympathetic figure. You look at the guy, he's got a nasty scowl face. He's constantly lying. He was a former communist. He's a bad person. Obama, I don't know if we want to take the Obama bait, even though he might deserve it. Even if the evidence is pretty good in Obama's direction, he has presidential immunity. You could create a massive Democrat political martyr. But I'm open to hearing both sides of the debate on this. But it seems as if Brennan was the hub of the conspiracy. He was the epicenter. Can we get that piece of tape, guys, where Brennan, Comey, and Hillary were all parroting the same lie? He was the fulcrum point of all things Russiagate. Now, what exactly were the crimes that were committed? Well, we don't know the specifics, but it was likely a grand and seditious conspiracy against the American people to thwart the sovereign of an election. This is President Donald Trump. He called into Squawk Box on this very topic, play cut 351.
The Justice Department now tapping a grand jury to look into the intelligence community's assessment of what was happening with Russia. Is that you have nothing to do with directing the Justice Department?
No, I have nothing to do. Pam is doing a great job. I have nothing to do with it. I will tell you this. They deserve it. I was happy to hear it. I actually read it just like you did. I have nothing to do with it. But what they did in the election, what they did in even the last election, but it was too big to rig. But what they did in the 2020 election is grotesque.
Now, mind you, even if President Trump did order his attorney general to do this, that's perfectly constitutional. It's perfectly legal. The attorney general acts at the behest of the president of the United States. But I understand that you want to keep some customs and some things separate because you don't want to see this as a politically motivated thing. So I get that. But just so we are clear, and I get this question a lot on college campuses, oh, well, Trump orders the attorney general. He's allowed to. The attorney general works for the president of the United States. But from all sources, Brennan seems to be the culprit. He is the center. He is the meeting point of the nervous system. He's the one where documents specifically show overriding the CIA's warnings to publish smears against President Trump. Brennan overrode all of the CIA objections, all of them, to the Steele dossier being included in the new DNI assessment. John Brennan was the offensive coordinator of Russiagate. He was calling the plays up from the press box. He was the one that was choreographing and orchestrating all the movements. He was the one calling pass, run, slant, out. He was in charge of all of the movements. This is a montage of James Comey, Brennan, and Hillary. We went through this tape last week. It's very important, working up sequentially. But if I were to give my advice, for whatever it's worth, I would go all in on John Brennan. Unless you have Obama so stone cold dead to rights, it could potentially be a narrative distraction beyond anything that we want. My opinion, Brennan, as based on everything we know publicly available, and there will be information presented to the grand jury that we do not have made available to us. But let's play cut 353.
The Russians interfered in our election during the 2016 cycle. It is a high confidence judgment of the entire intelligence community.
It was Russia in a very systematic way tried to interfere in the election and to try to advance the prospects of Donald Trump being elected.
Donald Trump knows that the Russians helped him win in 2016. There will always be an air of illegitimacy around the 2016 campaign.
That was John Brennan saying the Russians actively helped Donald. That was a naked lie on television. Now remember, Tulsi mentioned whistleblowers coming out. I bet more whistleblowers from lower ranks will come forward. I don't necessarily think they'll go all the way up to Obama. But first, build the case against Brennan. Build the case against John Brennan. Reliably, durably, and then we go from there. I think Brennan and Comey are the actual worker bees on this entire coup.